13 families hold the stage of power. Tonight we begin at the bottom rung, the Kennedys. Not bankers, not oil barons, but actors in a theater of glamour and tragedy. From Joseph Kennedy's ruthless rise, to JFK's Camelot illusion, to assassinations that became ritual sacrifice, this family's curse is no accident. It is spectacle engineered to distract the people, while deeper dynasties tighten their grip. Watch closely. The mask of hope is about to be torn away. The Kennedy family. Page 1 rise theater and ritual assassination. The Kennedys do not sit atop the machine of global finance or chemicals. They sit atop a stage. That is why they belong at rank 13. Their currency was never gold or oil. It was attention. Their engine was myth. Their offering to the wider dynastic order was spectacle that binds the public to a story of hope repeatedly slaughtered, ensuring faith in the performance persists even as the deeper machinery continues untouched. To understand their role, you start with Joseph Patrick Kennedy Sr., because he designed the set, cast the suns, rehearsed the lines, and forced the opening night with money, leverage, and a willingness to do whatever the moment demanded. Joseph P. Kennedy Sr. was not an inventor of industry. He was a tactician of advantage. Born in 1888 in Boston, he studied the codes of power as a young banker, tested the edges on Wall Street, and discovered that the line between legal opportunism and criminality is not a wall, but a fog. He bought and sold companies through pools and manipulations, learned to surf the waves of panic, and turned prohibition from a moral crusade into a logistics problem with lucrative solutions. He invested in film not because he loved art, but because he loved audience. Hollywood gave him distribution networks, leverage over the narratives of the day, and access to famous people whose brilliance could be repackaged as proximity to the Kennedys. If the other dynasties refined petroleum or standardized credit, Joseph refined perception. He discovered that a family could become a brand, and a brand could become a dynasty if its story captured the nation's longing. By the mid-1930s, he had done what ambitious men do when money alone no longer satisfies. He moved into political positioning. Joseph became the inaugural chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission, that paradoxical creature designed to legitimize markets while taming their excesses. He then became ambassador to the United Kingdom, where his warnings of war and his defeatist conclusion about Britain as prospects stained him in the press and Washington. But for a man like Joseph, even disgrace is only a plot point if the next act goes to plan. He returned from London with a single obsession, that his sons would carry the Kennedy name into American political royalty, and that the family would no longer petition the throne. They would sit on it at least long enough to etch an image that never fades. Enter John Fitzgerald Kennedy. If Joseph engineered the set, JFK perfected the role. In 1960, he won the presidency with youth, style, and an apparatus built to convert charm into votes and celebrity into legitimacy. The press minted the term Camelot after Jackie's curated recollections, but the idea was always already there. A modern royal court without crowns, a narrative of glamour draped over a republic that privately craves kings. Television had arrived. The Kennedys understood television is not merely a device, it is a sacrament. It confers aura. It tells viewers not just what happened, but how to feel about it. JFK learned to inhabit the lens. Speeches were staged, photo ops crafted, and the White House became both a functional office and a theater whose audience believed their attendance was participation in history. The contradictions were not weaknesses in the Kennedy Project. They were components of its myth. JFK's health was fragile, riddled by Addison's disease and back injuries that demanded a pharmacopoeia of painkillers, steroids, and stimulants. His private life was a carousel of affairs. The policies swung between disaster and brinkmanship. The Bay of Pigs invasion flailed, then drowned. The Cuban Missile Crisis placed the species within a heartbeat of annihilation, then retreated into negotiated face-saving. Civil rights advanced through speeches and symbolism and stalled through caution and institutional friction. Yet none of this blemished the Kennedy aura, because the aura is designed to float above evidence. The public do not worship footnotes. They worship narratives. And the narrative was youth, courage, and a promise that America could be beautiful, that power could speak French, wear couture, and look like tomorrow. On the 22nd of November 1963, the narrative turned sacrificial. Dallas became not just a location, but a ritual site. The assassin in the official script was Lee Harvey Oswald, the neat convenience of a lone gunman. The Warren Commission served its purpose: close the book, seal the doubts, reassure the nation that randomness is order. But the grain of the film and the geometry of the wounds refused to behave. The Zapruder footage entered the bloodstream of the culture. The grassy knoll became a shrine not to facts, but to the human instinct that power does not announce its murders. It choreographs them. Whether one insists on CIA fingerprints, mafia reprisals, military-industrial adjustments, or a mosaic of factions converging in a single kill, the effect is the same. The assassination ceases to be an isolated crime and becomes a ritual act embedded in the machinery of perception. It is theater with blood, and it achieves what theater always seeks: a transformation in the audience. JFK's death performed several functions at once. It transfigured a compromised politician into a martyr. It sanctified Jackie as the iconic widow whose poise under horror baptized an entire generation into grief. It fused the eternal flame at Arlington into a permanent relic. And it finalized the Camelot myth by making it unattainable. A paradise lost is stronger than a paradise sustained. The assassination did not only kill a man, it consecrated a brand. That brand is the Kennedy curse, the notion that destiny haunts this family with a steady hand. This is powerful because it converts flaws, crimes, and political failures into elements of fate rather than choices that can be interrogated and resisted. It positions the family beyond ordinary scrutiny. It creates sympathy that mediates accountability. It binds the public to watching rather than acting. In the architecture of dynastic influence, this is not weakness, it is utility. The deeper bloodlines require a theater that occupies public attention while they adjust interest rates, cement regulatory language, and relocate wealth. The Kennedys were perfect for the role because they could be both aspirational and doomed, saintly and scandalous, elite and ours. You could see yourself in them while knowing you would never be them. That tension keeps audiences seated, and an audience seated is an audience not looking at the ledgers that matter. It is vital to see the assassination not as an endpoint, but as the hinge on which the door to the curse swings. Before Dallas, the family is glamour with momentum. After Dallas, the family is tragedy with persistence. The persistence is the product, a rolling series of events that confirm the template. In this sense, the assassination was not merely about removing a president. It was about establishing a franchise. That franchise gives media a renewable resource of coverage, and the system a renewable resource of catharsis. Each new iteration of loss renews the bond between the public and the myth, and each renewal defers attention away from the engineers of the financial and legal infrastructures who never require a camera because their instruments do not rely on consent. They rely on credit and compliance. The ritual nature of the assassination is visible in its details. The motorcade route change, the open car, the vantage points, the timing, the immediate confusion scripted into radio chatter, the speed of the official narrative's assembly, these read like stage directions. The quick crystallization of a lone gunman narrative, followed by instant controversies, served to fracture the audience into camps of believers and skeptics. Fracture is useful. While citizen researchers pursue ballistics and timelines, the structure continues. While documentaries promise revelations, the debt machine accumulates. While anniversaries invite memorials, The law quietly expands surveillance powers. The spectacle feeds itself, and the machinery eats quietly. The post-assassination image work is just as critical. Jackie's pink suit, stained with blood, becomes a national icon. The funeral choreography with the riderless horse and the salute from a child compresses grief into indelible snapshots. The phrase Camelot is anchored not in legislative achievements, but in aesthetics, the soft power of elegance over substance. In the absence of policy deliverables, the theater ensures deliverables of feeling. Feeling is the glue. Feeling keeps people home. This is why, in the hierarchy of the 13 families, the Kennedys are both necessary and constrained. They teach the public how to love a dynasty. They teach the public how to accept that love can be punished by fate. They teach the public that the punishment is mysterious and beyond inquiry, and therefore politics is a place where beauty is killed but never explained. This lesson pacifies. It renders power into art, and art into mourning, and mourning into paralysis. It is the perfect service to those who prefer to work unseen. The curse, decline, and symbolic role. If Dallas was the ritual opening act, then Los Angeles was the sequel. Robert F. Kennedy, younger brother of JFK, carried the torch of hope into the 1968 presidential campaign. He spoke of ending the Vietnam War, of racial justice, of a new America. Crowds adored him. He was the embodiment of continuity, the promise that Camelot could rise again. But dynastic theater does not allow sequels to succeed. On the 5th of June 1968, RFK was shot at the Ambassador Hotel. The official assassin was Sirhan Sirhan, a Palestinian immigrant. Yet the evidence has never aligned neatly. Witnesses reported multiple shooters. Ballistics contradicted the official story. The CIA's MK-Ultra program, experimenting with mind control, hovered in the background. RFK's death was another ritual act, another martyrdom, another confirmation that Kennedys are permitted to inspire, but never to rule. The assassination of RFK reinforced the curse narrative. It told the public that hope is dangerous, that progress is punished, that dynasties can be glamorous, but must remain tragic. The deeper families, Rothschild, Rockefeller, DuPont, continued their control of finance, oil, and chemicals. The Kennedys provided the spectacle of loss. The public mourned. The machinery continued. The next act was scandal, not assassination. Edward Ted Kennedy, the youngest brother, became a senator and carried the family's political legacy. But in 1969, the Chappaquiddick incident destroyed his credibility. Driving off a bridge, he left Mary Jo Kopeckin trapped in his car. She drowned. Ted delayed reporting the accident for hours. The scandal was a rupture in the Kennedy myth. It showed negligence, cowardice, and corruption. Yet even this was absorbed into the curse narrative. The public saw tragedy, not accountability. Ted remained in the Senate for decades, shaping legislation, but his presidential ambitions were finished. The dynasty was confined to theater, not power. The glamour heir was John F. Kennedy Jr., son of JFK and Jackie. Handsome, charismatic, and media-savvy, he was seen as the future of the dynasty. He founded George magazine, blending politics and celebrity. He was the embodiment of Camelot reborn. But in 1999, he died in a plane crash off Martha's Vineyard. The media framed it as tragic fate. The curse narrative deepened. Another Kennedy lost, another symbol of hope extinguished. The family's role as martyrs was cemented. The curse extended beyond assassinations and crashes. Other Kennedys died in accidents, overdoses, and scandals. David Kennedy overdosed in 1984. Michael Kennedy died in a skiing accident in 1997. Kara Kennedy died of a heart attack in 2011. Sowers Kennedy Hill died of an overdose in 2019. Each death reinforced the narrative. The public saw tragedy, not power. The Kennedys became symbols of fate, not controllers of finance. This is the essence of their role in the 13 families. They are ranked 13th because their power is symbolic, not structural. They do not control central banks, oil monopolies, or chemical empires. Their domain's political theater. Their specialization is martyrdom symbolism. Their tool is media glamour. Their control level is limited. They shape perception, not systems. They are puppets of theater, not masters of finance. The curse narrative serves a function. It paralyzes the public. It creates awe, sympathy, and distraction. It tells people that even the most glamorous families are doomed, that fate is inevitable, that tragedy is unavoidable. It prevents accountability. It prevents resistance. It keeps the public watching the theater while the deeper dynasties control finance and law. The documented trails are clear. Joseph P. Kennedy Sr.'s stock manipulation, liquor distribution, and Hollywood investments. JFK's Addison's disease affairs, Cuban Missile Crisis, and assassination. RFK's assassination, CIA involvement, and political motives. Ted Kennedy's Chappaquiddick scandal. JFK Jr.'s plane crash and curse narrative. David Kennedy's overdose. Michael Kennedy's skiing accident. Kara Kennedy's heart attack. Sowers Kennedy Hill's overdose. Each event is traceable. Each scandal is documented. Each tragedy is broadcast. The trails are there for the people to follow. The Kennedys are essential because they show how dynasties use theater and martyrdom to paralyze the masses. They are the mask of hope, the illusion of resistance, the curse of fate. They distract the public with glamour and tragedy while deeper dynasties control finance, oil, chemicals, and law. They are the 13th family because their power is symbolic, not structural, but their role is vital. They are the theater that keeps the audience seated. The curse narrative is not accidental. It is engineered. It is reinforced by media coverage, by memorials, by anniversaries. It is a renewable resource of spectacle. Each new tragedy renews the bond between the public and the myth. Each renewal defers attention away from the deeper dynasties. The Kennedys are the perfect theater because they are glamorous, tragic, and endlessly renewable. They are the franchise of martyrdom. The deeper dynasties require this theater. They require a family that embodies hope and tragedy, that distracts the public, that paralyzes resistance. The Kennedys provide this service. They are the mask. They are the theater. They are the curse. They are the 13th family in the hierarchy of control. The lesson of the Kennedys is clear. Dynasties do not only control finance and law. They control perception. They control narratives. They control theater. The Kennedys show how theater can be weaponized, how martyrdom can be engineered, how tragedy can be commodified. They show how dynasties use spectacle to paralyze the masses. They show how hope can be manufactured and destroyed. They show how glamour can be weaponized. They show how tragedy can be ritualized. They show how perception can be controlled. The Kennedys are not masters of finance. They are masters of theater. They are not controllers of banks. They are controllers of perception. They are not rulers of law. They are rulers of narrative. They are the 13th family because their power is symbolic, not structural, but their role is vital. They are the theater that keeps the audience seated. They are the curse that paralyzes the public. They are the mask that hides the deeper dynasties. They are the spectacle that distracts from the machinery. They are the illusion of resistance. They are the curse of fate. The theater of the Kennedys shows us how spectacle can paralyze a nation. But the next family in the ledger does not deal in theater. They deal in law, ritual, and the cage itself. Family number 12, the Freemans. Their story is not glamour. It is control through contracts, courts, and coded inversion. If you are ready to wake TF up, then carry this fire forward. Like, share, and subscribe. Strike the notification bell so you never miss the next exposure. The Sovereign Signal is live, and the Freeman dossier is coming.